Hey friends, I'm Mira Dessy. I'm the ingredient guru. Some of you may have seen me at the Turner Syndrome conference where I come and chat with you. And I wanted to talk with you today at your retreat about healthy snacking. You know, right now we're all at home and the refrigerator or the snack drawer is just a little too close. And so we may be engaging in some really unhealthy snacking habits. And I wanted to share a few things with you about snacks and give you a couple of ideas. I also have created this multi-page handout for you with lots of ideas, lots of really great information for you so that you'll be able to have this to move forward and be able to still be at home, be practicing good, safe, healthy habits, but not engaging in some of the junk food and the junkiness that we tend to have to, or that we tend to get stuck in that habit. So one of the first things I wanted to do is share a couple of really interesting facts with you. One thing is, did you know that 94% of all Americans snack? And that's because the manufacturers have created this big push for us to engage in snacking. And part of the challenge is for those who have Turner syndrome, eating an energy-dense diet, meaning not a lot of nutrition, but a lot of calories, especially a lot of empty calories, is really not a healthy choice because that exacerbates some of the other health issues that people tend to be prone to: diabetes, heart health issues, blood pressure issues, those kinds of things. So we really do want to make sure that if we're going to have a snack, we're having a healthy snack. Now, the other thing is, we didn't used to snack a long time ago. People used to have their meals and that was it. But we have gotten into a habit where, because we are in this continual grazing mode and we're sort of randomly near something, we think we need to eat. And so we've developed this habit. And unfortunately, as I mentioned, food producers don't help with that because they try to tell us that they have all of these, what they think are delicious snacks for us. And the problem is we eat those and then we don't eat our healthy meals. So if you're going to have a snack, I do encourage you to not have more than 1 or 2 snacks a day, and to remember that a snack is not a meal. It's just meant to be a little something to get you through until you're able to get to your mealtime. Another fact that I wanted to share with you that's really, really interesting is, for a lot of people, the signals that our body gives us that we interpret as being hungry or needing a snack are actually thirst signals. So before you decide to reach out for that snack, I'd encourage you to stop, check in with yourself, see how you're feeling, and consider that maybe you're really thirsty and have something to drink instead. I will share that most of us are chronically dehydrated because we're running around not remembering to get enough to drink. And so we really do want to check in and make sure that's okay. So I wanted to share my healthy snacking tips with you, and then I'll just share 1 or 2 quick easy snack ideas with you. So the first one is, you really don't want to snack within an hour of mealtime. When you're about to have a meal, you're generally hungry, and so you may overeat. Remember that you're going to be having a meal and you're just looking for a little something to help you until you get to mealtime. The second tip is, don't eat when you're bored. Oh my goodness. When we're bored, we tend to overeat because our brain is kind of disengaged. And so we're, not thinking about what we're doing, and then we wind up overeating. And when we overeat, our tummies don't feel good. But then in addition to that, when we overeat like that, we're consuming extra calories, and over time that can lead to a lot of weight gain. So we definitely don't want to do that. Ask yourself if you're really hungry. Remember, I said for a lot of us, we could actually be thirsty. So we definitely make sure before you reach for that snack food that you just stop and check in and go, am I really hungry? Is that what I really want? Or am I thirsty? Or am I bored? Just check in with yourself. Learn to develop that body awareness that lets you know. You also want to make sure that you're not snacking for emotional reasons. We are all emotional eaters. That's just how we are as human beings. Some of us are more emotionally tied than others, but if you think about it, We were born, we were hungry, we cried, somebody put something in our mouth, it filled our belly, we felt better. So there is this definite emotional connection, and we sometimes carry that forward into our adolescence and our adulthood. And so that when we get upset or overwhelmed or stressed in some way, we soothe ourselves with food. And right now is a really stressful time for a lot of people with the virus and needing to stay home and maybe not being able to see your friends. And so that's going to create some emotional resonance that may encourage you to think about soothing yourself with food. But I would encourage you to find other healthier ways. Reach out to a friend, have a phone call, have a video call, play a game, read a book, do some other things to soothe yourself instead of reaching for snacks. Another really good tip is serve yourself. Don't eat out of the bag. There's a really big disconnect when we sit there with the bag. If you're watching TV or if you're reading a book and you're just eating out of the bag, you're going to wind up eating far more than you would if you serve yourself, put it in a bowl or on a plate, and then eat. Because when you're done with that, chances are you're done. If you're still a little bit hungry, you can always go back and get more. But if you eat straight out of the bag, that's not going to happen. And as a matter of fact, there was a very interesting study that was done. It's called The Endless Bowl of Soup. And it's on YouTube if you want to look it up. The man who ran the study is Dr. Brian Wansink. And he set up a special bowl of soup that was connected to a pot. And as people were eating this soup, without realizing it, the bowl was slowly refilling just a little bit. So they were constantly refilling their bowl. And they discovered that people ate sometimes as much as 30% more because they didn't realize that the bowl wasn't emptying. And so they just kept eating. Always make sure to serve yourself before you eat. And that actually also sets up a really good break for you between I'm hungry, I'm going to eat, to I'm hungry, I'm going to have a snack, I'm going to be mindful about my snack, and then, we can move on from there. I also want to encourage you to make sure that you're getting enough protein. One of the big challenges that we have is a lot of times when we're choosing snacky foods, we tend to be choosing things that are high in carbohydrates or have a lot of sugar or have a lot of fat in them. And what we really need is a little bit of protein in order to be able to keep ourselves going. So make sure that you're having some protein. So that comes to a couple of really great snack ideas. One of my favorite snack ideas is to have a little bit of nut butter. And I do like almond butter a lot, but cashew butter is delicious. So is hazelnut butter. I know a lot of people like peanut butter. I'm not opposed to peanut butter, but if you're going to have it, I do encourage organic peanut butter. And I also would encourage you to consider switching to some of the other nut butters. Peanuts are actually not a nut, they're a fatty little legume. And so although they have protein, there are other nuts that are a better choice. So having a little bit of that with an apple or a pear or some celery or something, so that way you've got something crunchy to go with the nut butter, and you're also getting a little bit of fiber from the fruit or the veggie that you're having. So that's always a great choice and one of my favorites. Another thing that I really like to do is to make myself a veggie tray or a veggie jar with hummus in the bottom, and then having a big assortment of different kinds of veggies, zucchini, carrots, celery, jicama, those kinds of things. And if you want, you can even make a snack jar by you get a wide mouth pint canning jar, and you put a little bit of hummus in the bottom, about 2 tablespoons, and then you cut all your veggies into matchsticks and put them into the jar. And that way, the first 1 or 2 are a little hard to get out, I will admit that. But once those first couple are out, it's very easy because then you have a dip and a veggie stick at the same time. The nice thing is you can actually make those in advance so that you have approximately 3 or 4 of those at a time. And you don't have to worry about them. Now, if you're going to put something like celery in there, you do want to cut off the seeds because you don't want that goopy stuff to get in there. That will actually cause it to go bad faster. You want firm veggies in there. And then another really good snack that I like a lot instead of potato chips, I'm a big fan of either kale chips or seaweed. They sell seaweed in little packets or even in big sheets that have, it has a little bit of crunch. It's got a little bit of salt. It's really good. And so if you're going to have something like seaweed as a snack, I would encourage you to have a handful of nuts or maybe a hard-boiled egg with it to get a little bit of protein. So these are some great healthy snacking ideas. I definitely have more in this handout, so make sure you download your copy and print it out. And one of the things I wanted to show you is the last page of the handout is my healthy snack list. So instead of I choose, and I would love for you to go through and get some of the ideas out of this handout. There's a whole bunch of things in here. I even give you a recipe for hummus. But to be able to look at what you're eating, consider doing your food journaling. I'm going to send a food journal along too, so you can use that. And then when you're looking at that, look at how you can make better, healthier choices so you can get some protein, not overeat on your snacks, not eat when you're bored, and make sure that you're supporting yourself so you can have your best, healthiest life. Thanks so much for joining me, and I hope you have a wonderful day. Take care. Bye.